Good morning, students. So, due to technical issues, first session could not be handled, so that we are coming over with the last session. So, to recap what we have seen in the previous session, MCQs were organized. So, in the last session, we have discussed completely on SACs, and we have conveyed about the disadvantages of DOM, Document Object Model, why SACs was designed. Again, we have conveyed what could be the limitation of SACs, how it can be overcome through stacks. So these three things that we have seen in the last session by a demonstration. Okay. So based upon that, you have these MCQs. Please type your options either A or B or C or D in your chat box. How DOM differs from SACs? So what could be the answers? Any options that I have received? No options till now. B. I have written option B. Okay. Most of the options retrieving are B. Yes, SACS is event driven, requires less space. So that's the important feature of SACS, right? Even point number one, we'll talk about DOM. Point number C also nothing but they're ready to derive the same content. But more appropriate one pertaining to this point is SACS is event driven because we will be writing the methods start element, end element, start document, end document. What are all the characters we are using? Right? Using these five methods, we are ready to compress the entire database within that. That's the powerfulness of that SACS parser is having. Okay, simple API for example. Second question: what type of language it is? Since we are using it, right? Already you have learned in internet programming also, but still over on that, we are working with this XML for the last 4 to 5 sessions. What's the answer? Answers could be B. It could be the answer, huh? So you have typed the B. Okay. See the responsiveness in your chat box will make sure that you are attentive over on the session as well as it could be right or wrong. Try to respond in the way that's the way that interactiveness for the class will commence, right? So ultimately, that would be a declarative language that is being supposed by the answer. Why XML is termed to be a declarative language, right? So declarative is nothing but everything is available in ready-made. Our job is declare and use it. That's it. That's the term declarative language. Imperative means it is something like function based. Okay. A very good example is Prolog or Lisp. That those things will come under the section. Namespace. What about namespace? Distinguishes one XML vocabulary from another, provides the spaces in the names. It's a query language. None of these could be the answer. Namespace is the term derived from Microsoft Technologies. They have only introduced this term initially. While they are revising C++, they are ready to launch this term namespace. So the answers are coming in shuffling way, A or B. Likewise, answers are coming. Okay, so what could be the best answer for this? Right? Distinguishes one XML vocabulary from another. This is an option which is what do you call? Which is more relevant to our SOAP or UDDA because these are completely built on XML. Okay, how will you differentiate one phone number with another phone number in a telephone directory? In a telephone directory, the same way. Okay, how you are differentiating, right? So that could be the way namespace will serve here. Okay, namespace could be a collection of classes, or collection of methods, or collection of functions, or collection of some built-in entries. Okay, but how they are differentiated through their identifier, they will be differentiated. That's what in a polished way they have given us, distinguishes one XML vocabulary from another. Okay. Yes. What are the interfaces of the part SAX2 API? I have shown you these programs, right? I have mentioned some program file name .java. Likewise, I have shown you 3 files. Okay. Additionally, they have given one more file here. That's all. What could be the answer? Handler is the term that is being repeated in everything. As well as you could be able to see a term called a resolver. If you have seen the presentation properly, you could be able to answer this question. How attentive you are. Have you revised the last day PPT? So all these things are mandatory to answer these questions. So for your evening MCQ test, questions will be from this section only. So revise all our PPTs. You could be able to answer easily. So what could be the possible answers that you are supplying in the chat? No answers. People are referring or traversing something on Google. Because people working with the multiple devices, they are searching and responding for answers. I think so. We have to switch on the camera and conduct the class. Then we could be able to find it out. Or like your safe browser, right? Safe exam browser. It's a browser completely manufactured such that it will kill all the parent and background process. Only the current process will run. You could not be able to touch anything. Example, while you are going to attend any placement tests in REC or if you are going to attend the NPTEL examination in any centers, safe exam browser will be enabled. Okay, so likewise you have to launch something on that. So the answer would be content handler, error handler, DTD handler, entity resolver. Right? So error handler is nothing but that we are going to work purely on exception handling. The corresponding logic will be there. DTD handler is going to represent, so what could be the type of data that we are ready to use with it. So entity resolver is nothing but what are all the objects that we are going to use it for scripting. Content handler, so already I have shown you that 5 methods. All those 5 methods override APIs will be available in that corresponding interface. So these are all the 4 interfaces that will serve us and help us to create SAX programs. So, and the last question. What's the best description of the characters method? So I have already conveyed you what about this characters method. I have shown you 5 methods while I am showing you the demonstration. I have shown you the 5 methods. Start element, end element, So within that, I have shown you this characters method also. What is the purpose of this characters method? It was being asked. Yes, possible options are letters A. 120 students are there, but responses are from 2 or 3 students. Could be the last star. But this portion is very important for your Wipro training also. Most of them are into convey on A. Okay. So option is B. Okay. Because characters method will be available only in SACS, not in DOM. So ultimately A and C will be ruled out. Okay. So SACS content handler interface to receive notification of the presence of character data. Suppose I am giving a name RIT slash name. This is the tag. So within the name tag, what is the content available? RIT. So RIT is going to have the length of 3. That's all. So that could be the thing being retrieved by this characters method. Okay. So please have a view on that pertaining to your university examinations. You need to work with the contents what I am showing. Okay. So please retraverse the PPTs and find out what are all the individual methods are doing. What is the purpose of start document? What is the purpose of start element? How they are accessing the data available within the tag? What is the purpose of characters method? So likewise, you have to penetrate and step forward for your examinations, right? So that's the thing that I want to convey here. And today class that we are going to talk about XSL or XSLT, right? Extensible Style Sheet Language. T represents transformation. Okay. So W3 have developed this to understand and give style to the XML document. How CSS is behaving for HTML in the same way. Okay. So that's the reason why this document has been designed. And when you come for unit 1 syllabus, they have given you XPath and XQuery forms. Then they have talked about this type of XSLT. But if you want to learn about XPath, first you must be very clear about this XSLT. Then only you could be able to learn about XPath. So I have changed the topic. I have swapped the topic, the last topic towards the current one. Okay, so we need to understand what is XSL. People who are familiar with the CSS, that you could be able to do it very easily. So what does the XSL document consist of? These are all the 4 things. And I want to convey you, all these things will perform their functionalities individually as well as collectively. Right? That's the idea. So XSLT is purely used for transformation. Okay, purely used for transformation. XPath is used for navigating. That means it is ready to provide us the path to reach the elements. XQuery, it is ready to supply me some expressions for accessing the data. That is what XQuery. XSL F4. F4 represents formatted output. So now I think from 2000 I think 2013 onwards, this XSL F4 was being replaced with the CSS3. Okay, currently it is not available, but when we are going to take from W3, the general document of an XSL will consist of all these 4 parameters, all these 4 coding sections. If you are going to open any IDE for XML pertaining to XSL, you will get all these 4 IDEs from that template. The template will consist of all these 4 sections. Okay, so in the place of XSL F4, you can replace CSS3 and you can fill it up. Okay, this could be the format of an XSL document. Consists of XSLT for transformation. XPath is purely used for navigation. XQuery is used for querying. XSL F4 is used for formatting. Okay. How an XSLT will work in this way? An XML file will be given towards the XSLT processor. This is not parser, this is processor. So please remember that. Okay, XSL document, that is the style sheet document, has been given. So XSLT processor, what it will do? It will apply the XSL over XML. Okay. So what is the data available in the XML that will be formatted using XSL? So the resultant document will be given. XSLT formatter will show it in your browser. So XSL formatter will be available with your parser. That is the thing that we need to understand. Okay. The next stage of parser will be formatter always in the browser. Okay. For our HTML with the CSS, it will not be visible and we could not be able to accurate also. But with the XML, we could able to see it and we could able to experience it directly. Okay. What is the role of this parser with the formatter that I could able to understand very easily. So how an accessibility works, I am applying the style sheet over the XML document. That is happening between XML document and XSL document that could be combined using XSLT processor. The formatted document will be displayed in the browser using XSLT formatter. This is the working technology behind our XSLT. Okay, so please remember that. So here you have an example program. See this, there is a root tag class. I am having employee records. 3 employee records are there. Okay, 3 employee records are there. So employee 1. So every record is having following fields: first name, last name, nickname, salary. These are all the 4 subchilds are available, and the main child is employee ID. ID is nothing but attribute of employee. So this is an example content. So how it is going to be formatted and displayed using a XSL. Okay, using a XSL. So this file I have saved as usual, employee.xml. Next file I'm going to save it as employee.xsl. My extension for extensible style sheet language is XSL is XSL only. Okay. XSLT is the processor. Okay. File name.xml will be combined with the file name.xsl will give us a formatted output. Please understand that. That formatting will be done by XSLT. So I'm going to move step by step. This is the first step in your. So this is not a complete program. I am showing you one line. Okay, every line which is going to talk about. Finally, the complete version could be able to understood. So this is the first line that is going to talk about the version. Okay, so always that you need to talk about that. Okay, so question mark XML version equal to 1.0. So encoding could be on UTF-8. What is this UTF-8? UTF-8 Unicode translation format. Okay, 8 represents that even it will support the backward compatibility of the browsers. That's the reason why UTF-8 will be used. Second thing. So what could be the style sheet version I need to use? 1.0 that I have to use. So I'm going to use the namespace, the built-in namespace available for W3. The same thing that you have to use it in your program also. So I have declared the namespace for my style sheet. Please remember that. Already we have seen about this namespace in the previous sessions also. Okay. Here I am declaring the namespace for my style sheet. Now the first tag that you need to understand: XSL colon template match equal to, within double quotes I have given slash. What this slash represents? If I am going to give slash, match equal to slash. Match equal to slash means what are all the formatting now onwards I am going to use, it will be applicable across the document. Okay, it will be applicable across the XML file. That means there will be a unique formatting will be there for this XML file. Okay, I won't do different types of formatting for different portions of the XML document. No, it would not be. If I'm going to mention slash match equal to slash, the formatting is applicable for all the content which are available now onwards. So this is a sample thing for our. So remember our XML file. So this is a sample formatting that I have made through HTML. Okay, so employee is being highlighted through H2. We are creating a table. Table color was given. Table headers are nothing but the tags of the XML document. Okay, so first name, last name, nickname, salary. These are all the subchilds of the employee. Okay, for employee tag, these are all the subchilds. All those things I have given it as a table header. Okay. Now this could be the HTML section. So within this HTML only, I'm going to make my script. So this is my XSL program. So the XSL program will start with the XSL colon. Please remember that. So here you need to know about each and individual content. For hyphen each, it is nothing like your it's nothing but like your for loop, because there I am having 3 records. Okay, I need to iterate all the records. That is the reason why I am using for loop. So the for loop is being represented here as for hyphen each. Okay, so what I have to iterate, that will be mentioned within select attribute. Select equal to, so my root node is class hyphen. I have to iterate all the records. So the records are being starting with the employee tag. So just go through this program. So class is my root tag. Okay, class is my root tag. Employee is the individual records. So within class, I am having 3 employee records. So I am going to iterate through that program. Okay, I am iterating, and you could able to see I am creating a row. In the row, first data, what I am going to choose, TD represents the data. XSL colon value of select equal to. So value of will fetch me what is the data I have given within the tag. So what I need to fetch, I have to give this identifier at ID. It represents my attribute. Okay, attribute of my corresponding employee will be retrieved here. Likewise for all the tags. Value of select first name. What is available for first ID, last name, nickname, salary, all these things will be created as a single row. Again, the loop will iterate. Okay, so till my tags are being completed, till my records are completed in the root node, XSL colon for each will iterate and table will be formed. Finally, the template will be framed and I could able to close the style sheet. Okay, so this is a separate program. So from here you have a program. Employee.xsl will start from this version, namespace declaration, template declaration, so HTML formatting, XSL formatting. So everything will be posted here. Okay. So finally, I could able to rewrite my employee.xml program, because I have created this XSL file, right? How to incorporate it, this XSL file with the employee.xml file. So here I have not referred any file. Okay. So better you can update this file. So see the second line, I could able to update it using that. So colon XML hyphen style sheet type equal to text slash XSL href equal to employee.xsl. If both of your programs are available inside the same directory, no need to give the complete path. Simply you can give employee.xsl. Okay. So by that I have given, and the complete program is available. Now no need to execute both the programs. It is enough for you to execute employee.xml alone. By default, while the browser is going to parse your XML program, it will take the formatting from XSL through your XSLT and it will combine and it will produce this output. Okay, so this is the way that it will fetch the record and it is going to proceed it. This formatting, table, everything will be provided by HTML. The process of retrieving data will be available from our XML or XSL attributes. Okay, so even I could able to do formatting for individual records also, that I could able to convey. So this could be the basic and fundamental program to understand about XSL. Okay. What about short? So can I able to start this record? Okay. Even I could able to start this record also. The same program only. How could I able to perform shorting? Okay. So as usual, the first program, XML program will not change. The first formatting section will not change, where we are going to apply our shorting technique. Okay, where we are going to apply our shorting technique. So based upon which tag I need to share, you could able to see here. See the second line, XSL colon sort space select, which is equal to last name. So based upon last name, I have to perform sort and I have to display all the fields. Okay, even you can customize here. So what are all the fields that you need to display? Likewise, you can customize also. I can perform sorting also, sorting operation also applicable in our XSL. Okay, so that could be done. So second line is very, very important. Based upon which field that I need to perform sort, I could able to give that field name or tag name based upon which tag that I need to sort. That can be given through this sort attribute of XSL or sort element of XSL. So here you could able to see based upon the last name, it got sorted. Okay. Next, I could able to apply control structures also. That is also being available. So how we have applied for the same way I could able to apply if also. Right, the same structure. I have omitted that employee.xml that could be applicable. So we are going to see the direct execution. So what it need to display, see the syntax, that's very important. Okay, so what I need to display, I need to display XSL colon, I have to iterate all the records, but what I need to display XSL colon if space test equal to, so what I am going to check the condition. Condition is the word being replaced with the test. Test equal to, so within double quotes, I have to give the condition. If you don't mind, someone mic is on, please make it mute. So salary should be greater than the respective count. Okay, so you could able to see the past data. So we are going to display the contents over on there. Okay, so I could able to give my consent. So like it's a query that I could able to pass the condition here. Salary should be greater than 30,000. Only those tags will be displayed. Okay, salary should be greater than 30,000. So by the altered data that we are having, we have displayed here only the records of the employees whose salary greater than 30,000. Check the salary field. Nothing is lesser than 30. Everything is greater than 30,000 only. So you could able to update and use it. Okay. So I could able to use for each. I could able to use if both these control structures I could able to apply, especially in if I could able to use as a query handling one. Okay. Next, XSL choose. Okay. XSL choose. The same program. So don't need to worry about these things. Already these things are familiar towards you. This section will not change. Okay. Even for anonymous examination, it is enough for you to prepare this format enough. The following section only it is going to change based upon only one line. So if you could able to write a program, the thing is only one line that you need to change. That will give you different types of output. Okay, so here the same thing that we are traversing, but what we are going to display, we are going to add another field. Okay, with the existing document. If the salary is greater than 50,000, I am going to give you a comment high. If the salary is greater than 40,000, I am going to give you a comment medium. Okay, so otherwise we are going to use low. Okay, that can be given within XSL colon choose. Okay, XSL colon choose. So I could able to choose the set of test conditions and I could able to produce this output. So the output will narrate you very clearly, right? So if it is greater than 50,000, it is going to give the grade high. So I could able to add a child also in the existing XML document. That is a point it is ready to retrieve. Using XML choose, I could able to add a subchild for the existing XML document. Already the employee record will have ID, first name, ID is the attribute, first name, last name, nickname and salary. So I could able to add the fifth one also, grade. This can be given using XSL choose and I could able to identify the corresponding condition and produce this tags. Okay, and also you could able to note down. So if the condition is traversing further, I have to end the corresponding XSL condition through XSL when. Okay, so when the condition will be. So instead of using if, here we have used the when, XSL when. So XSL otherwise. These are all the two new things that you have learned here apart from XSL choose. Okay, so please remember that Next XSL key. Okay, it is like a way of querying only, but we will give the search key in the program itself. Okay, so that is the idea here. So see this same short of content, but in the third line, second line that you could able to see, XSL colon key name equal to first name hyphen search. So what is the match that I need to search over? I have to search in the employee details. So what I have to use? I have to use first name. So this is the tag that you have to give. That could be understood very easily in the forthcoming section. So what is the key that I am going to use? First name hyphen search. I have declared the key here. Key name must be like this. First name hyphen search. So key name must be displayed over there. Comma Sonam. So I am going to retrieve the employee details of Sonam. That's all. Okay, so I am ready to retrieve. So like your linear search. Okay, I am ready to retrieve the data of the given key. The given key is Sonam. So for that I am ready to generate a formatted output. That is what given over there. So the record corresponding records data can be retrieved. That is also possible. So that is the reason why in the initial section of XML I have conveyed you XML can be used as a lightweight database. Okay, so the amount of memory an Oracle engine or a DBMS engine what it will consume to execute a query would be great, would be more, would be high compared to your XML. XML will execute it in a lighter way. For example, for executing traversing back and forth between client and server, it is going to use some 3 MB means. So your content for XML will be handled within a KB. Okay, within a KB. Please understand that. So within a KB that you could able, that means within 1 KB that you could able to retrieve a data, right? So that's an interesting thing regarding the content. So that's the idea of key. Remember that I could able to perform like a linear search. If you want to retrieve only the specific record by supplying a key, you could able to retrieve it. Such an interesting one it is. Likewise, I could able to apply formatting for individual data also. That is also possible, right? So actually this is the output. From this output I will explain you the program. Okay, so you could able to see all the first names are in maroon color, last name is in green color, nickname is in blue color, marks are in red color. So depending upon that I could able to apply these things also, right? So I could able to create and reuse templates also. That is also possible. That's something interesting, right? You could able to see this in the program. See what I have did actually. I have shown you part of the program. See the formatting section. I'm going to apply templates. Apply templates is nothing but I'm going to create a template. Okay. So based upon for which tag match equal to at ID. So only for attribute of employee, I have to use the following style. What is the style I have to use? Font size 25 pixels. So value of select has to be end with the dot. See, while I'm going to apply for the entire document, what I have used template match equal to within double quotes I have given slash. Slash represents for entire document. If you want to do it for only one tag, I have to give like this match equal to within double quotes I have to give the tag name or I have to give the tags attribute. So first template will talk about for attribute, second template will talk about for first name for the corresponding key element. Okay, so both the options are being shown over there. So likewise I could able to create formatting for individual elements in the corresponding XML file. That is the purpose of apply template. Okay, that is the purpose of apply template. I can create a template for only one tag and I could able to apply it, right? So this is what we are learning in CSS in terms of inline CSS. Okay. Next, import XSL colon import. What is this XSL colon import? What we are going to talk about. Import means already I have created a XSL file. Okay, you can reuse the XSL file. That's all. Okay, so if your tags are going to match, No need to worry about that. Simply, what is the XSL file I have created that can be reused for your purpose. Okay, so that could be able to identify through the tag XSL colon apply imports. Okay, XSL colon apply imports. That could be the end element tag. So what is the tag that I need to refer that can be given using XSL colon import. So and also within that import section, you could be able to see template match equal to within double quotes they have given slash. You can customize this. Okay, even you can customize part of the XML document also. So by that, so for example, in employee.xsl, what is the corresponding formatting they have followed only for nickname? So that can be applied over only for this document. So likewise, I can customize the corresponding portion of the XSL for the XML file too. Okay, that is also possible. So the last three lines are very, very important. XSL colon import href, which is equal to file name dot XSL. If both XML and XSL file are in the same folder, you can give as it is. If it is in some other folder, you have to give the complete path. When you are going to execute it in online compiler, so href equal to within double quotes, you have to mention dot slash employee.xsl because it represents that the file is taken from the server and it is going to apply the formatting. Okay, so template match tag, which is ready to represent that we are going to apply the complete formatting over the entire XML data. Okay, so the import tag will be closed by XSL colon apply imports. Okay, so that is the idea. So to revise that, so what we have seen, XSL import tag we have seen, and here we have discussed about XSL apply template. Okay, XSL apply template. So these are all the tags that we are revisiting, and here we have seen about XSL key. Okay, XSL key. That key name must be displayed over there, and it must be used as an identifier while you are going to write the complete section. And here we have talked about XSL choose, XSL when. Okay, XSL choose and XSL when. So and I could able to use it like a XSL if control structure, and I could able to learn about XSL sort based upon a tag name. I could able to sort it, XSL sort, and finally the basic structures to work with the corresponding entries for each value of. So these tags will help us to iterate and to fetch the data. Okay, so that could be the complete orientation of my XSLT. Okay, so that's the idea. If you have any queries, that you can post it in the chat box. It's a time for our discussion.